All right, Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All praises, glory, honor be to the Most High, creator of all things, of heaven above and earth beneath. Want to say all praises to the Most High, blessing us with another Sabbath day of rest and another Factual Friday brought to you by the brothers of the hopeful elect. It's your brother Yeshaya. Through the Spirit, the other brothers is about to join in a second. Shalom. You muted up.
Shalom, brother Donal.
Con. We waiting for brother Azrael, and we'll get this thing rolling, man.
Shabbat shalom to everybody, man.
Con. Hey, Shabbat Shalom to the nation. Hopefully, y'all had a great 6 days of labor, and bringing in this rest day with the brothers. We couldn't be more appreciative for the gift that the Most High has given us to bring you lessons for edification in spirit and in truth. So, the water for, hey, tuning in with the brothers. You could be doing anything on this weekend, but hey, you choosing to keep the Sabbath and bring it in, and none other than we call ourselves the new boys. You know how the boys that came with the jerk, bro.
What we come with?
I guess the jerk and the truth, man. That's what we do. We dance.
Hey, man, your funniness is slowly depleting from your body.
Dang,
Because that one was rough.
dang. Hey, man, hey, you could have backed me up at least, bro. You didn't have to make a face.
Hey,
Call
man.
ourselves new boy. Brother said,
Hey, man, open rebuke is better than secret love.
that is madness. That is madness. Hey, but Shalom though. Once the brother Azrael jump on here, man, we'll get right into it.
Con, I'm still here. I'm just about to stuff my face real quick.
Con, hey, make sure you mute your mic too. Nobody want to hear a mukbang.
I'm a silent tour, man, I think.
Okay, but hey, look, until the brothers get on here, man. Before we get into the topic of the lesson, which is, I think I put "get out the pot," right? But it actually came by inspiration through a brother. We put that little NGL link on our IG story and posted it, and the brother said, "Hey, I think you should check this out. This could be a good, for a good lesson for your next topic, or this, that, and third." So I didn't check it then, but when I finally looked at it, I was just like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, and it's actually deeper than what it looks like. And we'll get into that. But we know nowadays we live in a society where we live in a crabs in a bucket, frog in a pot type of society. And that's basically a society that um, they rather pull you down to get themselves out than help each other get out. You know what I'm saying? I think Hezekiah got in one of his songs like, why the ants could come together and we can't, they bugs. you know. And if you go look at ants, and we'll get into all this, but if you go look at ants, you'll see how actually ants are a lot stronger as a thinkers. They're more powerful. They're more powerful critical thinkers than, I'm not gonna say humans, but I'm gonna just say that the Most High gave those insects right there a certain type of discernment to know how to be able to create something, how to be able to get over something, how to move forward. Because when you look at ants, they will create they will create a chain link, holding each other's legs and arms, and they'll create that chain link so other ants can walk on them to get what they need for the colony and go back and forth, and
What's
they'll
that?
hold that
Ephesians 6?
chain link. I think that's in Ephesians.
Ephesians 6, where it's talking about the ants.
Let me see. Ephesians 6. uh
I think it's right before it starts talking about the armor of God.
yeah, let me see. So let me go to Ephesians the 6th chapter real quick. Let me see. Right before, um No, I'm not seeing.
Oh, it might have been in Galatians. It might be after the fruits of the spirit.
It's in one of these. I know that's where. I'm glad that you brought that up. So I'll just go ahead and look for it while I'm on here.
Oh, never mind. It's in Proverbs, I think.
Proverbs. I think Proverbs 30 and 25. Yep, Proverbs 30 and 25. It says
See?
the ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. Right. And I think that goes into a lot of videos I seen today on Facebook, because on Facebook, man, it's really powerful how the Most High made these creatures that we're rulers over. Um, I was looking at a video today where we got whatchamacallits, woodpeckers, and what woodpeckers do is they peck holes in the trees throughout the summer and the fall to prepare for winter, right? And they peck so many holes because trees shalom.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Con. But as I was elaborating on the woodpecker, man, they poke holes in the trees to be able to store up acorns for the winter. That way they'll have enough acorns to suffice them for the entire season of winter, right? And it's
Huh.
just marvelous how the Most High does these things, because Luke 12 and 24, right? Let me get that real quick, right? Let me get the book of Luke chapter 12 and verse 24.
I got a precept with for the ant too.
Con.
This is Proverbs 6 and verse number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide or overseer or a ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. Right? Just showing that the ant doesn't need somebody to be over her or over him to get things done, man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need incentives or any financial ambitions or none of that, right? It just does what it does because it knows it needs to survive.
Hey, Con, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like this. That's a perfect precept to go along with Luke 12 and 24. And it says right here, consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse nor barn, and God feedeth them. How much more are ye better than the fowls? Right?
Uh,
So all of that, all of these Proverbs 6, Proverbs 30 and 25, Luke 12 and 24, all these scriptures are showing how the Most High God even considers us above these beasts and these insects and fowls and things of that nature. He considers us above them. Ants are very strong insects, man. Like I said, they will literally do whatever it takes as a unit for the colony to thrive, right? But we
Con,
know that when it comes to the world we live in today, we don't do what it takes for the colony to thrive. We got to get it on our own. You know, we got that every man for himself mindset, right? Which is
con,
why it's a lot of jealousy, envy in the world right now, which is why I would say that um a lot of people receive a lot of hate for just being who they are, which is why a lot of people receive a lot of hate for trying to do what they're trying to do, in a sense of, if you see somebody trying to bring together society, a lot of people are going to kind of turn a blind eye towards that person, right? Because everybody is just like, I don't need you coming over here trying to teach me how to help how to help other people. I just need to help myself and go on about my own day. And I think we've talked about that before on a lesson where um we say that, hey, we had to I forgot what lesson that was, but I think it was when we was just talking about how we need to go over how we need to build each other up, and we shouldn't be worried about things of the world that much.
con, man. It's just crazy. It's so amazing how over and over again the Most High will use these dumb animals, right? Insects, bugs, ox, donkeys, right? Use these animals to confound us. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, have you not seen your surroundings? Have you not paid attention to the animals that are around you and how they're wiser than you? You know what I'm saying? And they do it innately, just out of nature. It's involuntary to
Right.
them. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes back to that scripture, right? The simple things confound the wise.
Right. Go ahead, Op.
What I was gonna say was to look at it or bring it out in a different way. You know what I'm saying? We gotta build ourselves up, like the brothers are saying. If we do these law, statutes, and commandments over and over and over and over again, it was always said, "Hey, treat the homeless as yourself, or feed the homeless, or provide for the homeless and the fatherless and the widows. For you was once homeless, for you was once strangers, you were once fatherless." Right. So because of that, it's like a innate how can I say this? Like a Slovakia, like a safety net, a fail safe, if you may. It's like a fail safe that, hey, if we do these commandments, we're always gonna be building each other up. I was listening to some music on the way to work, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Maverick City. Maverick City is like a new gospel group. I guess they kind of model themselves after like Kanye's gospel choir. They got that one song that goes, "If you say you believe it, you're a man of your word." You ever heard
Huh.
that?
Come on, I've heard it.
I haven't heard that one.
Say I believe it, is you're a man of your word. Anyway, it's a pretty
Oh,
catchy
just
song.
me.
It's a pretty catchy song.
Okay.
However, you know, they're under a lot of flack from the Christian church because they uploaded some interview or some type of video of them cussing, and they're very young people, right? It's a very young band. But anyway, they had a song that they played during this concert called Jireh, meaning what? Provider. You know, they was coming from the aspect of Jehovah Jireh. The Lord is a provider. And the reason why I brought that out is because how did the Lord provide majority of the time in the Bible? Right, when He provided for Samson, when you read that book of Judges 16, how did He provide for Samson when Samson was blind and couldn't see? He sent a little kid, right? How did He provide for Esther? He sent Mordecai. How did He provide for Salakia, Saul? He sent David. How did He provide for Moses? He sent Aaron, right? He sent people, brethren, right, to help provide. So even though the Most High God is a provider, He'll use our people to help build our people, just like the ants, just like all these other animals that don't ask no questions if they want to help. If I see if I'm a deer and I see another stray deer, I'm gonna make myself known so he looks at me and follows me. I don't even have to know that deer. That's how animals operate. And so that's how the Most High God wants us to operate as well. You know what I'm saying? So He can provide in each of our lives. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important to give alms, to be charitable. That's why it's important to give back. That's why it's important to always teach and be patient with each other, because you could be being used, right, as a as a vessel for the Most High God to provide for another.
Con. And that's important because it's just like you said, man, the simple things confound the wise. It's just like um when he said, have we looked at these animals? We can learn a lot from animals if we just sit back and pay attention to them. We think
Oh,
that because we're lords over these animals that hey, they got to follow us. Well, sometimes we actually need to sit back and learn from the animals that the Most High put in the earth, because they can teach us a lot of lessons about truly how to sustain life. They can teach us a lot of lessons about being stronger than the mind thinks. Like a lot of people who are herbalists and who are like vegan or not even vegan, but they only eat fruits and vegetables. Like a lot of people like that who are vegetarians, right? They pretty much always post this one picture, and it said the oldest animal, the strongest animal, and the largest animal are fueled by plants. And I'm not saying that to promote being vegetarian or abstain from meat. I'm saying that because it's a lot of things like when you think about how animals operate, it's a lot of things that'll make you just go, wow, because the way they do, the way they eat, the way they live, how they help sustain the colony, like I said, going back to the ant thing. That's
Khan, if
very
I may,
interesting. Go ahead.
Salaki, to back up your point, man, just look at the gorilla. All the gorilla eats is insects and plants, and you see how their muscles are so defined and how strong they are, right? No matter how much a man works out, you'll never be as strong as a gorilla. And all they do is eat plants and little bugs.
Right. I wanna make the I want to make a point about that too before people start saying we're supposed to be vegetarians. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why these animals are so big and muscular, 0% fat, and all they eat is grass, hay, berries. It's because they can actually absorb the nutrients and proteins from this stuff because their stomachs have an acid that our stomachs don't have. They can break the stuff down to a fine element, you know what I'm saying, and absorb it.
And some of them
Us,
have multiple
feel
stomachs.
right, multiple stomachs. Us, we got that one stomach, and a lot of that stuff, that acid doesn't break it down. It gets passed to our colons, and it sits there, and it gets passed on out of us. We don't really absorb it. That's why a lot of us, when we stop eating red meat, we get low iron because we can't absorb all that protein that we're missing, right? But that's just it's a fun fact on this factual.
Con. Even if people say, we only supposed to eat vegetables, that's a side note for this conversation. But hey, I always like to take them to Romans 14. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there is one who eateth, and you know what I'm saying, and believing that we're not supposed to eat. Hey, but there is one who think that we can eat all things, and all things is not pertaining to things that were not sanctified by the Most High. That's just talking about things that, even meats that the Most High made lawful.
Khan.
Like we're not supposed to be sitting up here telling our people we in sin because you eating straight vegetables, and we're not supposed to be telling our people we in sin because y'all don't eat vegetables, y'all eat meat. You know what I'm saying? We can see the health benefits from not eating meat. We can see the health benefits from having meat that contains certain proteins. I mean, but at the end of the day, we know that the only thing that's going to sustain you really is the word of the Most High, right? Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God, right? Go ahead, sorry.
Um, did y'all already read or bring out Luke?
12 and 24.
Con,
Yeah, we already brought that out.
if I may, can I add one more point to that?
Go ahead.
Um, Luke 12 and 24, as I saying, consider the ravens, you know, these animals, man, they teach us everything. They teach us how to heal ourselves because animals they'll naturally go to plants that heal their stomach when their stomach is messed up. You know what I'm saying? You can see that with dogs. You'll be like, why are you eating that random plant? Right. But their stomach messed up and they can smell, they know where to go to, right? Because they're ultimately led by the most high God. But in Luke 12:24, they don't reap, they don't sow. And this reminds me of the passage of the person that hid their talent. You know what I'm saying? He said he hid the talent. Why? Because I know, good master, that you're a stern king that reaps where he did not sow. So I was just trying to protect mines, right? Giving us the example of what? Little faith. Little faith produces little fruit. That's why he never increased his talent. But these birds, these ravens, they don't reap, they don't sow. Guess what? And they still have faith. They teach us faith. They teach us that we don't need to try to solve every problem for ourselves, right? And the Most High God's still gonna feed us just like He fed them.
Con. Hey, all that being said, man, it's important to know that we can learn a lot from these creatures that the Lord puts on the earth. You know what I'm saying? That He put on the earth. Salakia in the background, children going off, but we can learn a lot from these creatures, man. So that's why this lesson is called "Get Out of the Pot." Originally, I named it "Frog in the Pot," but in a sense, you know what I'm saying? It's still the same thing. You can see the thumbnail; it's a frog hopping out of a boiling pot, and pretty much overall, it's like uh, when it comes to understanding what this signifies, what it signifies, it's a lot, right? But I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen and go ahead and play the video so that way brothers and sisters can see and hear, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. Go ahead, Salakia. You was gonna say something?
Who?
You.
Nah.
Oh, okay, Con.
I was getting something on my teeth.
Oh, all right, Salakia. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video to get the lesson started. Like we said, the water for tuning in. This is just a good explanation. Now we know right here. I'm gonna tap on this too. So let me just play this video and let me show y'all where the inspiration of the title came from.
A frog is a cold-blooded animal, and humans
Can y'all hear?
Con.
Okay.
are warm-blooded, so our body burns energy or perspires to maintain the same 98.6 degrees. The cold-blooded frog's body temperature goes up and down with the temperature of its surroundings. Although frogs love water, when I hold it over this pot of boiling water, this frog is very uncomfortable and climbs to get away from it. Now, the water in this pot is room temperature, 69.4 degrees, so he's comfortable when I put him in. If I turn the burner on low flame, his body temperature will adjust and slowly he will heat up with the water. The water temperature has risen to 80 degrees and the frog is the same temperature and still comfortable. If I turn up the burner slowly again, he won't notice because he'll continue to change to be the same as his surroundings. When we started, I held the frog over the first pot of boiling water. He was uncomfortable and he tried to get away from the heat. But now, because we're raising the temperature slowly, he doesn't recognize the danger he's in. He just keeps going along with the changes in his surroundings. Eventually, we can turn up the burner to a deadly boil. He will just keep trying to adjust with it. By the time he realizes it's killing him, it's too late.
That's a fake frog.
Because he just keeps changing himself to go along with the changes in his surroundings.
No frogs was hurt during the making of this video. Oh man, I'm good.
Hey, you could have sworn you'd have seen it before. Hey, Con, but look, that's just a brief synopsis of, you know what I'm saying, like, what the video, what the title of the lesson came from. You see in the video that they explain how.
June 1st.
Oh, Salakia.
Can you say your name and spell it?
You see how in the video they explain how a frog, right? If you throw a frog in instantly hot boiling water, they're gonna jump out of it, right? But if you set a frog in room temperature water, they'll sit in it. And as the water temperature rises, the frog will raise its body temperature to adjust with its environment, right? Just to be able to sustain life. And it's important to know that because, like I said, that goes into a lot of society today. If Babylon, you know what I'm saying, what we refer to as Babylon, if America, in a sense, right now was facing the judgment of the Most High God, a lot of people wouldn't want to partake of what America has to offer if they seen everything that the Most High God was doing to it for the things that that she's done, right? But since after time when we got here, you know what I'm saying, after we got what's they called? Not Willie Lynch, not Stockholm syndrome. After our minds have been changed enough to believe in this society, in this country, and believe that when the country was founded that it really wanted equality for all men of all races, right? Eventually, it was like we were being put in a pot at lukewarm temperature. And slowly over generations, the temperature has been rising. And you know what else has been rising with those temperatures? Our wickedness. We've been increasing our wickedness to match the wickedness of Babylon to be able to succeed and be accepted by our surrounding and environment in Babylon, right? How can we know this, right? So let me pull out a scripture real quick. Let me get the book of, I'm going to start with Wisdom of Solomon. Matter of fact, no, I'm going to start with the book of Isaiah.
Going back into how animals can teach us stuff. And we got to be like that frog in a lot of situations too. This is a little side note. We got to be like that frog in a lot of situations. The Most High put us in a pot. Hey, we got to adapt and we got to take our fiery trial with a, you know what I'm saying, with a smile on our face. We got to act like it's normal sometimes, and it's gonna burn. It's gonna burn. But the only thing is, we're not gonna die. We're gonna come out as fine gold. You know what I'm saying?
Con.
That animal right there, that frog, taught us that it's possible to stand the heat and not get out the kitchen.
Right. And Con, I was gonna through the spirit, he brought that out early. So we're definitely going to elaborate on that too, because it's definitely like the Ak read in the video a while back. It's double to that, which is when it comes to understanding prophecy, right? Understanding scripture, physical and spiritual, and there's always two sides. So let me start with this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, and verse number 3, right? It says, matter of fact, let me start at verse number 2. It said, "Hear, O heavens, and
I'll
give
read.
ear." Huh?
I'll read
Oh, Con, go ahead.
the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. Oh, verse 2, Salakia. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Uh-huh.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
Right. So stopping right there real quick. We'll read verse number 4, but stopping right there real quick, starting this lesson off with the first scripture that the brother Donal had his closing statement with last night, right? When we were talking about God's relationship with us, we don't consider a lot of the things that happen. We don't consider the love that the Most High had for us. We don't consider the things that He's done for us. We also don't consider what society is doing to us, because we're literally like verse number 4. Can you read that for me?
Verse number 4, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a
Uh-huh.
seed, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters.
Right. So stopping right there, we are literally a sinful nation, which is why it's kind of hard for us to be able to understand the things that's happening around us, because of people laden with iniquity. We're literally put iniquity on like underwear. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how much you shower, just think about that's every time you put on iniquity. Hey, look, that's how we are as a nation, right? It said a seed of evildoers. We came from a seed of evildoers because we came from a seed of people who transgress the law, statutes, and commandments, just like we transgress the law, statutes, and commandments. And it said children that are corrupters. Everything we touch, we make corrupt. We're supposed to be the salt of the earth, according to, I think that's Matthew 5 and 13, I want to say, right? Or 5 and it's one of them, 5:11, something like that. But we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. We are supposed to be the people who every time we touch something, it's supposed to be seasoned. Every time we touch something, it's supposed to be righteous. But instead of making anything that we touch pure, we corrupt it. We corrupt everything that the Most High God has done for us and has desired to do for us. Because why? We are a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. Can you finish verse number 4 out for me?
They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger.
Uh-huh.
They are gone away backward.
Right. And read verse number 5.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
Uh-huh.
Ye will revolt more and more. The
Uh-huh.
whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint.
So look, understanding this, right? The Most High God is giving us he's talking about us, you know what I'm saying, openly. He's just like, look, y'all are sick and y'all whole heart is faint, man. Y'all are people that, like you said, we love to go away from the Lord, what the Lord desires from us. I know a lot of our lessons, brothers and sisters who might watch often, who might watch the videos in its entirety, a lot of times we talk about the law, statutes, and commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments. It seemed like every time we open our mouth, it's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments and how we need to turn back to them. But it's so important to know that we have to do these things. We can't stress enough that as a people, the only way we'll ever get back to the land of Canaan is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. The only way you'll receive eternal life is by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Allowing the Spirit to work inside of you to be able to walk in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Brother Anaviel, the servant, has a song and it said, life after you die, that's really called living, something like that, to some that bar up. And it was pretty cold because really everybody thinks they're alive right now, right? But you're not alive unless you're literally taking heed to the law, statutes, and commandments. How do we know this? Let me get another scripture. And this is a sidebar, but let me get another scripture. Um, let me go to. Matter of fact, let me go over here and let me go to the Apocrypha. Right. I'm gonna go to the classic one, Baruch 4:1. I like the book of Baruch so much, and people are gonna be like, all this brother pulls out is Baruch 4:1 and Baruch 4:6. He doesn't know anything else. Well, hey, stick to what you know, you'll never go wrong. Right?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You can read this for me out.
Also, don't grow weary and well doing, brother. You know what I'm saying? If it's good,
Hey,
keep it up.
Khan.
But this is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 3. Give
No,
not
start at verse 1.
verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
Uh-huh.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
Read that again.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
No. All they that just know God.
All they that keep it shall come
Uh-huh.
to life.
Uh-huh.
But such as leave it shall die.
So literally, the only way we know that we're living is if we're keeping these commandments. You might be alive, but you're not alive. You're not living. Anybody can be alive, but are you living? You know what I'm saying? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. That could have been something we could have said yesterday on Think About It Thursday. Go ahead.
And I wanna make emphasis on the wordplay here. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's King's English, it says shall come to life. That means you're not alive yet, even if you breathing, right? Because you could be breathing, but you got to keep these commandments, and them commandments is gonna give you life spiritually and also give you life eternally in the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about what you do once you come to the knowledge of the truth.
Con, can I get a precept to back up what that brother's saying?
Khan, what you need me to pull?
Wisdom of Solomon 7:25, because he mentioned about breathing, right? He mentioned about breathing, and that's a mighty point, man. But what? How do you know you're actually breathing though? Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon 7:25, and it's concerning. If you read for context, verse 24 right there is just talking about wisdom, right? And before we even get into wisdom, we know what is our wisdom, right? What is our wisdom in the sight of the nations? These laws, statutes, and commandments. And they will see us and be like, surely this is a wise and understanding people, right? So we know that wisdom is synonymous with these laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, what does verse 25 say, right? Wisdom. Oh, you can read it.
It says, for she is the breath of the power of God. And
She is the breath of the power of God, right? This is God's when you read the scripture and it says that God breathed into somebody, right? It's talking about wisdom. Not only is it talking about wisdom, it's talking about these law, statutes, and commandments. So the breath of God is literally talking about breathing in these law, statutes, and commandments, wisdom, right? Knowing good from evil, right? This is the breath of the power of God. When he breathed into you, then you start living because you know what's right and what's wrong, right? And how to save your life. Right? You can read, you can finish it just to finish the verse out.
And a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her.
Right, man. Talk about a pure influence. And we know that God tempted no man to sin, right? Gives no man license to sin. So the only influence that we're getting from him is what? These laws, statutes, and commandments.
You know
what I'm saying?
Look, in verse 28, right? It said, for God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So, hey, look, if you ain't dwelling with wisdom, which is synonymous, again, in Deuteronomy 4 and 6, with these laws, statutes, and commandments, you know what I'm saying? Then the Most High don't love you. He doesn't love anyone but that dwells with wisdom. So we got to understand when it goes back to Isaiah, and we're talking about our nation, right? And we're talking about the things that we've done, the things that we don't do. We have to understand that the Most High God really, you know what I'm saying, feels some type of way. That's going back, piggybacking off of yesterday, right? But the reason I read this, again, is going back to the frog video, not the myth one, not the myth of the frog, but the frog in the pot, where how the video summed up showing a frog will adjust to the water that it's in to be able to sustain itself inside the environment, right? That can work both ways, like Azrael touched on, saying that, hey, look, sometimes the Most High will put us in an environment, and we need to sometimes understand that even though the temperature rises in the kitchen, hey, we can take all the heat and not have to leave the kitchen because we're sustaining ourselves in the situation that he put us in, because we know he's going to take us through that fire, right? We know that we're going to get tried, tempted, tested in this walk. But sometimes we got to be like the frog and raise our body temperature and adjust to the situation that the Most High God put us in. But I was elaborating on the part of understanding that sometimes this pot we need to get out of. When you feel that temperature rising, you know what I'm saying? You need to sometimes get out that pot. It's worked both ways. You know what I'm saying? It depends on which way you look at it. You want to look at the glass half full or the glass half empty. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. Both ways you look at it can apply to your life. You know what I'm saying? Both ways you look at it can apply to your life. You got to understand that you got to be like the frog in terms of knowing that the Most High God is going to send you some things that you got to be able to withstand. But you also got to not be like the frog and get out of some situations that you're probably in, right?
Hey, that's a good point, man. Because the scripture says, he won't put too much on us that we can't bear, right?
Right.
For he'll always provide a way out. So just like you said, man, you literally speak in the scriptures when you say, hey, look, you're gonna have to be able to take some of this stuff, but when it gets too hot, he always provides a way out, and you got to know when to take that way out. If not, what's gonna happen? You will get boiled.
Hey, you're gonna get boiled, man. Go ahead, Art.
That reminds me of this precept right here too. Proverbs,
Kind of breaking up, brother.
the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness.
Hey, you can requote that. You can restate that because you broke up.
Lakia, Proverbs 21:12. The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. Right. So when you're a righteous man, you got to consider the house of the wicked, and you got to know that they're gonna be overthrown. So sometimes temptation, sometimes different situations come at you, and it's like that boiling pot. You got to know that pot's gonna get hot. You got to know that pot's that might potentially kill you. You got to get out that pot, like the brother was saying. So, like the brother saying, it's double to that, which is you can see multiple meanings in multiple aspects of life, and that's how the Most High God set this earth up as a big test, full of wisdom and cheat codes for you to make it through. Khan.
Shalom to the brother Obadiah. Prisoners of Yahweh Shah.
Prisoners of Yahweh Shah. Hey man, they did an excellent video concerning multiple wives on last night on Instagram. If you haven't, man, go hit them brothers up. Follow them on Instagram, Prisoners of Yahweh Shah, and go check that thing out, man.
Khan. Hey, look, it was a mighty video for sure. The brother was definitely in the spirit.
Khan.
Hey, but certainly, like the brother Azrael was just elaborating on, man, double to that which is in these scriptures, right? Manifold. We know that we have to be two-sided in this truth. I'm not talking about two-sided as in be a Pharisee. I'm talking about two-sided as in know what the Most High God gave you the ability to do and know when the Most High God is giving you the ability to leave. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that when the Most High God is sending you a sign to get from somewhere, you need to get out of Dodge. Don't look back, right? Let me I was gonna bring up Wisdom of Solomon, but that just brought me to this. Let me bring up the book of Genesis chapter 19. Bring up the Genesis chapter 19. Let me see. Let me see. Let me start at verse number. Let me start at verse number. I want to start at verse number 14. So not verse number 14. Let me start at verse number 11. You can read this for me, starting at verse number 11.
Genesis 19:11.
Right.
And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
Keep reading.
Verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place.
So at this point, this is the angel of the Lord commanding Lot to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? To get out. Because why? Go ahead and read verse number 13.
for Salakia, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it.
So right here, the angel of the Lord is talking a lot and telling him that the Lord sent us to destroy this place. So anything that you have here, you need to get out. Why? Because Sodom and Gomorrah, everybody knows. If you don't know about Sodom and Gomorrah, read Genesis chapter 19. It was a very wicked place, very wicked kingdom, I would say, right? And the Most High God had to destroy this place. Because if you go back to the beginning of the chapter, hey, these men at Sodom and Gomorrah were looking to rape the men that Lot were with. You know what I'm saying? Lot evened up, and I know this will go a different way, so I'm not even going to touch on that, because we would have to literally go and show you why this is a just thing in a sense. But Lot even was telling them, like, look, man, I have daughters. Take my daughters, but do nothing wickedly to these men, right? Right? So the Most High seen that, and he said, okay, it's time for y'all to leave, right? So start at verse number 14 for me, please.
And Lot went out and spake unto his son-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his son-in-law.
So they were just like, everybody seen that Russell Westbrook face? Well, he was just like, bro, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Or that Nick Young.
Like, yeah, that. Like, Nick, what? Like, they like, the Lord gonna destroy this place, man. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Right? Verse 16, though.
Verse 16.
Salakia. Verse 15.
Verse 15. And Salakia, too, this is kind of like Noah in a sense. You know how people perceive the story of Noah, how people was dancing. They wasn't taking heed to the end of the world.
We're going to get on that.
All right, Salakia. Verse
No,
15.
good.
And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city.
So the angels again telling Lot, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's time. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? If you were in a house, and we make parables all the times, we say analogies all the times. If you were in a house and you was dead sleep, and you had a dream, and literally in a dream, an angel is talking to you and telling you, get out of here. It's finna be mayhem in this place, right? Say you in your house and the angel's telling you got to leave this house because your house is going to catch on fire, right? Even so, even not none of that. There's a little let me use an even more realistic scenario. There is a little video that goes around on TikTok and Instagram Reels, right? And the video is like when somebody's standing somewhere and the audio attached to that video says, hey, my boy, you better not be here when we get back. We finna shoot this thing up, something like that. Whatever. I know people have seen it and heard it. If somebody told you, don't come here because I'm finna do something bad to this place, or so-and-so is finna do something bad to this place, you're not going to be the idiot to go there and think that, oh, they're not finna do it for real. You're going to believe them. Go ahead, Op.
Right. Just like we read just now in Proverbs 21, you got to consider the house of the wicked, man. And so you're not overthrown with them, right? Through the spirit that led straight into where the brothers going in, because modern day today, we just had the 4th of July and that mass shooting, right? If you know all the mass shootings that's going on in America, why would you want to go to? First of all, we shouldn't celebrate the 4th of July in the first place, because who got their independence from who, right? Some thieves and some robbers got their independence from the place that was stealing and robbing from them, right? Because they didn't want to submit. But anyway, if you live here in America or Babylon,
Brother done froze.
especially something that's Salaki, can you hear me?
Why for only $10?
But actually mine is $55 a month. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you live here in Babylon the Great, you should know for a fact you should not be going to large gatherings, especially if you have kids with you. People went to 4th of July, you know, I know in their gut, you know what I'm saying? That was the Most High God, you know. Just like the brother said, you got to consider the house of the wicked. That's the Most High God putting in your gut, like, man, I shouldn't go. Something bad might happen. So when something bad does happen, guess what? Now you're running down the street to your car trying to figure out or trying to hold your little kid's hands or pick them up on your shoulder. You're a bad parent. You shouldn't have brought them there because you didn't consider the house of the wicked, right? You got to know when to get out the pot. Like it.
Brothers brought out Revelation 18:4.
Nah, I was gonna bring that out, but
Okay, we can wait then. We can wait.
no, go ahead because I think it goes along right with what we're saying right now. I'm gonna bring this out. Revelation 18:4, which is one of my favorite scriptures. I even got it in the song. I'll read it. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues."
God, this is what the Most High was saying. The Most High was just saying what the brothers were saying. What both the brothers were saying, right? He's warning you. Hey, look, I'm about to shoot this place up. Hey, we finna drive by. We finna light this place up. You better not be here when we get back. You know what I'm saying? That's the Most High giving us a warning that, hey, look, man, if we was in Los Angeles, right, and you know the Crips was about to pull through, and we was some Bloods, right? He would be, hey, y'all might want to get out of here, blood. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High is literally saying what these brothers was telling us. And a lot of people will not take heed to this, right? And you would be just like you would be stupid in the world to stay at a party that you know is about to get shot up. You're stupid for staying in a society spiritually, right? Indulging in wickedness when you know it's better to get shot up. You know what I'm saying? Literally shot up with arrows. Right, hailstone and fire, brimstone, you know, brimstone, hell, brimstone, you know.
Go ahead, brother.
Were you about to bring something out real quick from this precept?
I was gonna go retouch on that a little bit more down verse 5, 6, 7, but you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if you could get Isaiah 13 and 15, but we could wait.
Nah, we can go ahead. It's through the Spirit, man. So if the Most High put something on your heart, matter of fact, let me open up a new tab. So like,
all right. Yeah, Isaiah 13. I'll bring that out in a second. Isaiah 13 and 15, just to back up what all of us are saying, right? Because all of this is prophecy. You know what I'm saying?
I'll read it for you. It said,
Salakia.
I'm gonna start at verse 13. Dang, that's through the Spirit. Because I was just gonna say I started 13. Right, verse 13. It says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of
you might want to get out of here, blood." hey, Loke, you might want to leave, Loke. Or that mass shooter at the school. I'm going to shoot this place up. Don't be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
That's that episode of Degrassi, man.
Right.
You seen that episode of Degrassi? And wasn't it Drake that, you know what I'm saying? He got the tip off and then he tried to stop the person. Hey, if somebody's made up in their mind what they're gonna do, they're gonna do it. Same thing with the Most High. If the Most High made up in his mind that he made this place to destroy it, ain't nothing you can do. And that's what the Christian church wants to do. Maybe if we love each other enough, God will stop all the promises and all the judgments he has set in the Bible, right? Because he didn't give us a spirit of fear, right? So maybe we can stop his judgments.
So like you too. And if we know anything about Jeremiah 51, it says, hey, though we would have healed her, but she's not healed. That means you can't pray for her. But like the Christian, am I frozen?
A little bit. You start over again. What you were saying?
I was gonna say, like the Christian church says, they say, for example, like the song I was singing earlier. If you said we believe it, you're a man of your word. Christians will sing that and say it and not know how powerful that is because they don't actually read the Bible. They don't know his children gotta wake up. That's part of prophecy. They don't know that he's going to destroy this place. That's out of the Bible. If you said it, we believe it and we cannot change it. He's not a man that he should lie. You're a man of your word.
I think I was actually listening to that song in the car, right? Through the Apple Music, through the Spirit. But I think it's because you have played it in your car and then somehow another cloud, it started playing on my phone, right? But I heard that song, and the thing that stood out to me was exactly what you pointed out. Christians will say, if we believe it, right? And they'll proclaim this, right? But they won't believe when he said, hey, don't eat pork and it's for your good. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe that. They don't believe, oh, this place has to go. They don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the hypocrite. And when you listen to that song, you kind of got to think to yourself, what do you believe in? Like, what part of the Bible is he saying that y'all believe? Because literally everything in here, right? You don't believe it's gonna happen. Right. What in this word do you believe?
That goes back to Brother Yeshaya's lesson last night. You know what I'm saying? Your relationship with the Most High God. Do you believe what he say, or do you believe what you want to believe?
Right. And I did a lesson on that on IG a few months back when I was just like, the truth or your truth, which one do you want, right? I did that lesson on IG, and pretty much, man, I was summing that up because, like I said, a lot of people want the truth to be what they believe is the truth, what they want to be true for themselves, right? Everybody wants their relationship with a God to be true, and that the Most High will accept them for their relationship that they have with the Father, right? But that's not the truth. The truth is the Father tells you in order to have a relationship with me, you got to have a relationship with wisdom. So you can't know me if you don't know wisdom, because I only love those who are given unto wisdom. We just read that in Wisdom of Solomon 7. So you got to understand that what the brothers is saying is confirmed. You know what I'm saying? Through the Spirit, hey, everything in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses is a matter established. You got to understand, when it comes to understanding getting out of something, when the Most High tells you to get out of something, you don't need to take a second and think about, should I leave or should I stay, right? I think the brother, we did a video some months, like last year sometime, it was on should we stay or should we flee? We did a video on that when the brother was on his barbarian vow, you know what I'm saying, his Nazarite vow. But hey,
you can read verse 15. You could just skip to 15 real quick.
Oh, Con,
so
let
we
me
can
go
get
back.
that up.
Salaki, I forgot we didn't finish it. It says, let me finish this 13 real quick. It says, therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Verse 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Right. Consider what's finna happen, man, and take heed and get out the pot. But like the brother said, it's double to that which is. We can also see as an example when we were leaving Egypt. Now we had to stay in the pot through the plagues. It was getting hot. We had to endure the pot. So that's a case where we had to endure the pot, right? And know that the Most High God was going to save us out of it. But also when it was time to leave, when he sent Moses, right, and Aaron, and it was time to leave, hey, it's time to leave. You can't want to stay back in the pot. You're going to die if you stay back in the pot, right? He said, come out, or else verse 16 going to happen to you too. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be dashed pieces before their eyes, spoiled. The wives going to be ravished, right? So you got to get out, even if it's going to lead you to a Red Sea and you don't know where you're going.
Con, going back to Genesis 19, Revelation 18:4, Isaiah 13, 13 and 15 and 16, all says the same thing right here. Examples, Genesis 19, right? And it says, starting at verse number 25.
And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground.
Salakia, read verse 24.
Verse 24, then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven.
So the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah out of heaven. You remember earlier, the angel of the Lord was telling Lot to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? He told Lot right here in verse 19, he found grace in his sight, right? So he sent angels to let Lot know, get out of this place, it's going to be destroyed. The Lord is a man of his word. The Lord is not like human people, like us, like mortal flesh. He's not going to say something and not do it. When the Lord says something, he means it, and it's going to come to pass. Whether it happens now or later, it's going to come to pass. So the Lord's a man of his word. He said, hey, look, in the morning, I'm going to destroy this place. In verse 24, right? The Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and the inhabitants, so on and so forth, right? Verse 26 is important. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So Salakia. So Lot's wife looked back. She looked back instead of focusing on getting out of Dodge. She said, "Oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying?" And turned into a pillar of salt. She got destroyed by the brimstone, by the fire. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff happens when you don't listen and hearken to the Most High God, right? That's going back to Isaiah 13 and 16, right? Or 15 and 16. It said, "Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished." The Most High God did a number on Lot's wife because instead of jumping out the pot and getting on, she decided to look back. Go ahead, Art.
Con, man, to further your point, man, it's
Real
almost
quick.
Con.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's almost like this, right? Because we're talking about Lot's wife and how she looked back. Keep in mind, man, it's the same thing as if you know you've seen those movies and TV shows where a house is burning, right? And there's a family in, and the family escapes, but then you got that little kid, that little girl, right? That may have left like their teddy bear inside the house, right? And as they're running away, she kind of got her mom got her hand and they're running, right? But then the baby kind of pulls back and slips out her mom's hand and darts inside of the house, right? And then the mom is screaming, "Baby, come back, come back, come back." The baby goes inside the house to try to get her doll, right? And then, you know, in these movies and TV shows, we see that, hey, a lot of times that baby doesn't come back out and the mother is left crying, right? It's the same thing. If we see that this house that we're living in right now is burning, right? Just like Lot and his wife, they saw that where they was coming from was literally burning, and it's gonna get like that for us too. If we see that this house is literally burning, why would we turn back for something that, you know what I'm saying, a teddy bear that, you know, we can get another teddy bear, you know? Why would we turn back and risk it all for something that we've had in the past, knowing that everything's gonna be gone anyway? That when that baby went back inside the house, I'm led to believe that that teddy bear was already burnt up. You know what I'm saying? I'm led to believe that whatever she was going back for was already gone. So why does she go back? Right? It's that love for the world. It's that love for things that don't matter. It's that love for things that are destined to burn up anyway. And so we got to keep that in mind when we are into these situations, especially when we get into these further situations where we got to make the right decisions and we got to obey. If he says don't look back, don't look back. Don't go back into the burning building, right? If he says, "Hey, look, I'm finna shoot this place up," right? You best to leave. You best to get out of there if you got any type of prudency or wisdom about you. You know what I'm saying?
Like a pig that is cleaned, right, wallows back in the marsh. I feel like I said that wrong. No, I probably said that right. You know what I'm saying? Like a dog returning to his vomit. Don't do those things. You know what I'm saying? Why get squeaky clean just to go roll in the mud again? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't make sense. And
that's like in Ecclesiasticus where it says, "What profit the man that prays and fasts for his sins and gets back up and does it again?" Right? What profit that brother's prayer? It's for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another way, you know what I'm saying, that these animals teach us as well, right? Because we know we get frustrated when we clean animals and they just get dirty all over again. We get frustrated looking at an animal do something nasty, like going back to his own vomit, right? Obviously, your stomach didn't agree with it. So guess what? Leave it out your body.
That's a mighty point, man. Just those natural feelings that you get when you're washing your own, you know what I'm saying, animal, and he's finally clean, right? You can finally take him places, you let him inside, all of that, and then as soon as you get done, you putting up the hose, right? You dumping out the water, this man go and he's doing flips inside the mud, right? Just that natural feeling of like Foster doing, shaking his head, like, man, I gotta take my time and clean this man again. That's the same way the Most High is feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's the same way he's feeling. Like, what
Con.
the heck, man? But at the end of the day, he knows that we're dumb. We ain't got no wisdom about us.
Hey, Con. Hey, look. Matter of fact, that brings me to read uh Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna go back to what I had earlier. Wisdom of Solomon 2. We start at 21. Um, before I read that though, let's go to Ezekiel real quick. Ezekiel 33, because I found this precept today, and I was just like, dang, that's kind of mighty, in a sense of understanding. It goes along with what you all was saying. But follow me. Read. Can you read this for me, Art, please?
Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of thy people,
Uh-huh.
the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression.
Uh-huh.
As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness.
Uh-huh.
Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinned. Dang, we should have brought that out the other night. Well, I think that's what I was looking for the other night, actually. But
Con. Hey, look, this is mighty. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of thinking that when you're talking about righteous, wicked, when we're talking about frog in the pot, when we're considering the parable that we're saying along with this to go along with this story, there's a lot to consider when it comes to learning from animals, when it comes to doing the right thing, when it comes to being righteous, being wicked, right? But I'm gonna tie this into the lesson because I know it kind of says a lot, but let's break it down. When it says the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression, what does that mean? That means a lot of people can be righteous all their life, but what does it profit if the day that you sin? If you righteous your whole life, why choose one day, you know what I'm saying, to finally say, I'm a good transgress the law of the most high God? That's what it literally means. The righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. We used to have arguments like that in the world, like, so people be asking questions like, so you believe that God will send somebody to hell if they live righteous their whole life, but they sin one time and then they die? Well, yeah, it literally says it right here in Ezekiel 33 and 12. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. Now, listen, it's a plot twist because sometimes in life, you know what I'm saying, when we in that pot, we see our environment. Hey, look, we quick to examine what everybody else is doing. We might be the righteous people inside of this burning pot, right? You know what I'm saying? We might be the righteous people inside of this pot, looking around at all the wickedness that's around us, right? And sometimes we are quick to hastily discredit our brothers and sisters who keep the same law, statutes, and commandments as we do, right? Look, as for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness. So how is this going along line with the lesson overall is tonight, right? In a sense, sometimes, bro, we feel like we see wicked people do wicked things and we instantly just anger, which it should make you angry to see wickedness in our people do wickedly. But sometimes we got to consider the fact that a lot of our people don't know, so it's our job to go and warn them, right? This is why the book of Ezekiel starts off in chapter 3, and I talked about it, I think, in 33 as well, that we should warn people, right? We should warn the children of Israel. Why? Because a lot of them don't know, like it says in Isaiah 1 and 3, right? Go ahead.
Nah, you finished your thought?
No, I thought you had some input. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean I did, but I wanted you to finish your thought first. But it was just to back up what you were saying. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna plug in a song, man, that went with it, that the brother Deacon had made, and he said, sometimes I feel like I want to get everybody hit, but I gotta repent because I know that everybody's sick. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Knowing that sometimes, man, we wanna you really put hands on our people, but then we gotta realize, man,
yes, right there.
I used to think like this man once upon a time, right? And when I used to think about this man, when I used to think like this man, right? I thought I was emphatically right. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't want somebody to treat me this way, this, that, and the third. So I gotta deal nicely with my brother, right? Because I know he's sick. I know he's not in his right mind. I know those are demons on him,
Right. And just to add to that precept that we was just at, I was gonna say also, just keep it keep it in context of this message, you know what I'm saying? Think about animals, right? There's that animal that needs to get out the pot. For example, that frog. That frog jump out the pot at the last minute, he might save his life. He might not boil up, right? But there's also stupid animals like crabs and lobsters. We've seen videos of them crawl into a boiling pot, you know what I'm saying, to their own destruction. They lived the whole life, became full-grown crabs, full-grown lobsters, right? You could live a life full of righteousness, but if all that was just to climb in a boiling pot, all of that's for no reason, because you guess what? You're gonna die. So that
And that goes with
one mistake can cause you to die.
that goes with what Foster was saying too, right? When all hell breaks loose, a lot of times people just like to, before even thinking, they cling to things that are not necessarily good for them, right? And a lot of times, like all hell break loose. Sometimes we got to take a step back and not be hasty in the time of trouble, because some of us will be like, "Oh snap! There's a there's a COVID virus out here that's killing everybody. What should we do?" Right? And you know that you're not supposed to be getting no vaccines, but you panic so much that you go ahead and get the vaccine, right? To your destruction, even though you know better. And it's the same thing, just like that crab going into that boiling pot, right? All that crab, he knew that something was going wrong, right? His life was in danger. And the only thing that was going through that crab's mind was, I gotta get back to something that's familiar, right? He saw some water. He didn't pay attention that if that water was hot or not. He just clinged to something that was familiar to him without being taking the time to step back and analyze the situation. He was hasty in the time of trouble. That's why he found himself in that boiling pot. And that's what a lot of us do.
Con. Hey, look, this is going along with the brothers are saying in the song that Deacon, shout out to Deacon Hakai, right? It's going along with the brothers were saying in the song, the lyrics that Deacon had in the song. This is Iraq 8 and 5. It says, reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we are all worthy of punishment, right? So when you go back to Ezekiel chapter 33 and you read and understand that, hey, look, as for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness. Understand that, hey, look, that the angels in heaven rejoice over a soul that repented. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that, in a sense, we got to be the frogs in the environment, or necessarily the crabs in the bucket that's looking around. And when we seeing people change from their ways, we got to be rejoicing over that. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to understand that should make us even go even more harder in this thing for the brothers and sisters who are coming out of the mindset that we all had at one point in time, right? Because that's important to know when it says that neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day he shall sinneth. That's confirming the first part of this same verse. You know what I'm saying? The righteous won't be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinned. Neither will the righteousness of the righteous deliver him in the day of his transgression. So it doesn't matter if you are righteous a million years. If on the 1,000,001st day you transgress, it won't be enough. You know what I'm saying?
Why won't it be enough, right? Because when you look at these things, it's like saying this, right? If I'm in a relationship, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but if I'm in a relationship and I'm faithful, right, all the way up for, let's say I'm faithful for 3 years, right? And one time I step out and I have an infidelity situation, right? And I cheat, right? Those 3 years that I was faithful go for nothing. I am now labeled a cheater. I'm now labeled an adulterer, right? Why is that? Because you got to understand, those 3 years is nothing to be applauded. I was supposed to do that. You don't get brownie points, and you don't get an applause for things that you're supposed to do, right? That's why when you finally do something you're not supposed to do, you're held accountable for that. Right? We should do the things that we're supposed to do just because we're supposed to do it. Just like when we read about the ants, right? The ants don't need a ruler, an oppressor, or a master. They just do what they're supposed to do, right? So you don't get applauded for those things. But when you finally mess up, best believe we're gonna hold you accountable, and the Most High is gonna hold you accountable.
Con. It's important. Even myself, sometimes, like in the world, I used to use that card. Like I do this, I do that, and third. You know, that don't matter. Hey, that don't matter. So the Lord, like the brother said, it's like a relationship, bro. It doesn't matter. And this is why we know a lot of truth situations like that. Like, I got a friend whose parents were married for 14 years. Then the father finally decided to step out. They got a divorce. Now he wants her back, but Mom Dukes ain't going for it. You know what I'm saying? It's important. Why? Because it's just like a lot of times in life, the marriage get 25, 30 years in. This is when people start getting weary. They start seeing these younger women. They start getting tempted. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're an old person that look good. You know what I'm saying? All these young women gonna come at you because they want a sugar daddy. Or if you're old women that look good, hey, all these young brothers gonna be looking at you and they gonna want you because hey, you still look good in your age. You kind of like Moses. When Moses died, he was still it had a good body. You know what I'm saying? Moses was old, but hey, when he died, he was still looking good. He was still mighty. He still had the strength and the activity of his limbs. A lot of times today, with all these GMOs and all this processed food we eat, stuff like that, brothers be 54 looking like they on their last leg. It happens like that sometimes. But a lot of times back in the day, everybody looked good at their old age. And what happens? People step out. Why would you wait 25 years into a marriage to finally decide to step out? If that was you, if you was gonna do that, you shouldn't have got married in the first place. Or, you know what I'm saying? I don't encourage people stepping out on their marriage. But mistakes like that should probably happen early on, not later on as you get older. You know what I'm saying? So like you go ahead, Op.
Kind of, I was just gonna say, why is that? That's because you mess up the trust factor, man. You could do what you're supposed to be doing, but the one time you mess up the trust, you can't get trust back. You know what I'm saying? For example, um, just like in the court system, you'll have somebody get persecuted for something fraudulent, and they'll be in court like, Judge, please don't send me to jail. Please don't send me to jail. I do this for the community. I'm a father. I'm this. I'm that. I'm X, Y, and Z. But you broke the law. So guess what? You did something fraudulent, meaning you broke the trust of the government. So guess what has to happen now? You got to go to jail. You got to go to prison. And that's just what it is when it comes to this law of God. That's why it says if you break one law, you're guilty of breaking them all because you lose that trust factor. You know what I'm saying? But also, to whom much is given, much is required. If you know what the Most High God has done for you, you know the Most High God just led us out of the land of Egypt, split the Red Sea, right? And so you're gonna live good for a few years and then mess up. Guess what? He got to take you out because he knows you know right from wrong. If you're gonna live righteous and live faithful for so long, right? And you know how to communicate, you know good comfort, you know how to be in a good relationship, but you want to jeopardize that and cheat. Guess what? You damage the trust factor, and now you no longer it would no longer be the same.
Come on, man. A lot of people have trust issues too, man. It's not a light thing, man. You break somebody's trust, boy, it's hell and high water trying to get that trust back, man. And it's funny, man, because just like you were saying, somebody would plead to a judge, I take care of my kids, this, that, and the third. And then just like somebody in a marriage, right? For sake of an argument, they might be pleading after they have stepped out on their significant other, like, what, take me back? I mean, why can't you forgive me? I've loved you from through thick and thin, for better or for worse, right? In all of these cases, it's like, I hear you, but nigga, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your kids. You're supposed to stop at the stop sign, right? You're supposed to. You said you was gonna love me for better or for worse, so you're supposed to do that. It's the same thing in this truth, right? When we're in this truth, we can't fall on the righteousness that we've done, the faithfulness that we've done, because we're supposed to do that. What's the whole duty of man? What's the whole reason why we was created? To do that. So we can't have a fall safe on the stuff that we're supposed to do, right? And we gotta be held accountable for the things that we're not supposed to do, right?
Time. Hey, look, man. I'm finna freestyle real quick, right? So check this out. No, I'm just kidding. But look, when it comes to understanding what the brothers are saying, let's look at a good example. If you don't know the history of Larry Hoover, right, then you should go do some research on who Larry Hoover is and the impact he had on our people, right? So Larry Hoover was, for lack of a better term, he was the founding father of what we know as GDs, right? So Larry Hoover founded GDs in Chicago. He had got sentenced to, dang, I wonder how many life sentences it was that he got sentenced to for his gang activity. It was for a murder he committed back in like 1973 that he got sentenced for, and he got an X amount of life sentences. He's trying to fight it now He's trying to fight it now and beat the charges, you know what I'm saying, and get either a reduced sentence or be able to get let out because he's been in jail for a long time, since before I was even born, right? So Larry Hoover is now trying to get acquitted of his charges because he feels like he's a changed person. He feel like what he did back then, back in the late 60s, early 70s, was foolishness, and that he's learned from his mistakes. And that he actively now says that he doesn't want anything to do with the GDs, nor does he encourage their behavior. He said, I'm not actively telling these people to do what they're doing. They're not inspired by me, right? So let me finish and I'll let you go out. So with that being said, is that goes right along with the title. You know what I'm saying? Like when the title says get out the pot, by the time you feel the heat, it may be too late. Larry Hoover didn't realize his actions were to the extent they are until it's too late. Now he wants to get out of jail. He's old in his age. Now he wants to get free from prison. And the action that he made has cost him literally his freedom, his livelihood outside of the four walls of whatever prison he's in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? That sometimes we have to consider these things, these actions that we make now, that it's important to know that we're going to have to pay for them at one point. And that doesn't mean that just because you've learned from something or you did X, Y, and Z, that you will be acquitted for those things. And my ending statement yesterday, and I'm finna let the brother Nanan speak. My ending statement yesterday, I brought out Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Those sentenced against the evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore are the hearts of sons of men fully set in them to do evil. Right? So just because the Most High God is not recompensing you for the things that you do exactly in the moment that you do it, a lot of us think that we're going to be able to get acquitted. That goes for me included. I can only repent and pray and hope and fast that the Most High God forgives me of my iniquities each and every day of my life, just like brothers and just like sisters who are in the truth now. But to use Larry Hoover as an example, go do some research on Larry Hoover and go do some research on his attorneys and the crew that he has together trying to help him get out of prison. But go ahead, Op.
Man, that's a mighty point, man. I spent some time looking into the Larry Hoover thing, man. When I was back working as a union painter, and what the brother is saying is not false, right? If you go back and do your research, man, when the gangster disciples or GD, right, the gangster disciples were put together, they were originally put together to help out the community, right? They took this name, gangster disciples, and they put the gangster and they put disciples on the end because they wanted to help out their community like the disciples in the Bible, right? That's how it started out. Of course, we know down the line it went through some haywire, right? But like the brother said, and I'll go on the record and say this, man. If the brother is sincere, right, I hope that they do let him out and give him a second chance. I hope that he gets a little bit of salvation out of that, right? Because we know the scriptures say earthly repentance leads to destruction, but godly sorrow leads to repentance, but leads to salvation, right? If he has a godly sorrow towards this, right? What does that look like? Like actually sincere and trying to do something about it, right? I think he should receive a little bit of salvation from his stance, man. Because I've seen the interviews and I've heard people talk about it and how he says that, hey, look, man, when we started Gangster Disciples, it was one way, but now these youngins nowadays in 2022, right? They just killing just to kill, and I don't support that, right? Even the people that you know what I'm saying that they killed, it was behind like actual reasons, and now people just killing just to kill. And he said he's not with that, you know what I'm saying? And like the brother said, he also said he's not making none of these calls, right? And people ask him, they'll say, well, why can't you put a stop to it? Why can't you, you know what I'm saying? Your name hold weight. Why can't you put a stop to it? And he said, man, these youngins today are different. You know what I'm saying? I can say all I want to, but they're gonna do what they want to do, and I can't do nothing while I'm in here, right? And so if the brother is has a godly sorrow and has truly repented, let that brother out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can make a change in the community that he destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can be a Paul where he killed Christians, but now he's going back, and cleaning up shop.
Fine. Hey, I feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if the brother truly, you know what I'm saying, is repenting for his actions, let him out. I mean, it ain't like you said, it ain't like what influence can he truly have outside of the name that he has, Larry Hoover? You know what I'm saying? after his statements, you know what I'm saying, I would find it tough to believe that anything that he says will receive credibility in the street manner, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. But I'm not from there, nor do I associate myself with any organization. So, you know, it ain't like I have knowledge about that. It ain't like I can say that, oh, X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? I'm only knowledgeable in the thing that the Most High God gave me knowledge in. That's these laws, statutes, and commandments to an extent. You know what I'm saying? And I pray that knowledge increases, but not puffeth up. But in the sense of understanding the systematic oppression by, you know, society and the way our people have been affected by these gang violences, um these a lot of situations that we've been put in, these prison systems, everything that's entailed inside of these four walls of a country that we live in. I know it has a huge effect on our people, right? And I know that at the end of the day, like the brother was saying, back in 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the murders that our people committed, we don't agree with, but at least they were validated to an extent. Like, hey, you did something to so and so, I got to do this to you. I don't necessarily agree with it, but what I'm gonna say is that, hey, when you have that type of understanding that if you do something, you're gonna pay for it, then okay, because even in a sense, the Most High God tells us the same thing. Like, if we do something, we're going to pay for it, either now or later. And that's how it worked in the gangs back in those times, right? But nowadays, like the brother was saying today, we're literally just killing people for fame and fortune, right? We're killing
Women.
people for women, pride, jealousy, envy. There's so many things that we take people out for, and none of it is righteous. You know what I'm saying? None of it is a righteous thing. Like, what if you was to, and I don't, like I said, I don't encourage murder, but you know what I'm saying? But what I do understand is that sometimes, bro, I wish our people rode for the Most High, like we ride for colors, like we ride for sets,
Right.
neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I wish we rode for the Most High, like we ride for these materialistic things, because at the end of the day, nobody would be able to touch us as a nation if we truly had the mindset of, you disrespect my God, I'm gonna F you up. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
It's so
man,
simple.
it's crazy, man. Just like that video that we sent earlier today, where the game was talking about how he was scared for his life at a stop sign, right?
Con.
Brothers bring it so brothers are so serious about their gangs and whatnot, right? That they'll kill somebody for just stopping at a stop sign in their area, right?
Right.
And we're talking about we got brothers that are serious about that, right? But when we talk about, oh, the kingdom is ours, right? We can only get in these 12 gates. Them same brothers that will kill you for stopping at their stop sign will be like, but kingdom of heaven is supposed to be for everybody.
Right.
Like, what in the world? And it's like, bro, if you can only have that same seriousness about you about this truth, bro, then we can finally start moving like a community. But it's just so crazy that a brother can't even stop at a stop sign. Like, what if that's the only route he can take from work to home? And you telling me he can't go through your neighborhood, bro? That's crazy. It's madness.
Right. And even, you know what I'm saying, the Bible tells us if a stranger sojourn among you, don't vex them. You know what I'm saying? That's just principle, bro, when you're working with anybody. But my thing is this, you know, you know, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. I think I was gonna go on the aspect of, wow, it just ran out my mind.
Hey
Salakia.
man. Now you good. But this is a perfect time to understand that, look, like the brother Donald was elaborating on, man. Hey, it's if only, you know what I'm saying, our
Oh,
people.
Salakia, I remember.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me finish this real quick. The brother Azrael posted on his Instagram last year, about a little over a year ago, when my brother was moving weight for FedEx, right? He he posted on his story, like, about how it was basically saying, like, if gangs had the same type of energy for the father, you know what I'm saying, that they do for their organizations, boy, imagine how mighty the truth would be. You know what I'm saying? If it was all done in righteousness, of course, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about somebody say F the most high and you just shoot him in the head. Now, in a sense, that probably would be happen one day. You know what I'm saying? But in a sense, just imagine if, in a righteous sense, that brothers would literally bang hard for their heritage versus the constant battle of neighborhood and different districts and stuff like that, different sets and stuff like that. Man, it would be mighty. But go ahead,
Right.
Salakia.
What I was gonna say is, what takes into place is a fear factor. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother said at that stop sign, the brother was fearing for his life. Now we shouldn't be causing that fear upon our own brothers. That fear should be upon our enemies. That should be upon the other nations. For example, that fear comes when people see an Indian person on an airplane. That fear comes when you talk about ISIS and all of these things like that, because they're willing to die for their cause. You know what I'm saying? They're willing to blow themselves up. But our people was once, instead of dying for colors and flags and names and streets and neighborhoods, we was willing to die for our Bible, for our word, for the Most High God's laws. And that instilled fear into these other nations, just like the Muslims, just like the Indians, right? Just like the so-called terrorists. And if we could take that fear that we have in our heart from each other, right, we could put that on our enemies, just like it reads in Second Maccabees, right? When he saw the manliness of Judas's army, he took flight. You know what I'm saying? Whether because there was valiant men willing to live or die for their God. You know what I'm saying? Paraphrasing. Because of that, we'll put fear on these other nations. And a lot of Christians nowadays have been taught we shouldn't live in a workspace based salvation. We shouldn't have to be threatened to follow the Most High God. We shouldn't have to threaten other people to follow the Most High God. Guess what? If you spoil the rod, you're gonna spare. If you spare the rod, you're gonna spoil the child, and that's what's happened here in the earth today. Because as you can clearly see, if you don't make people fear, they're gonna do what they want to do, and it's gonna be super wicked, right? You're not gonna have no responsibility and no accountability and no judgment and no correction. And we see this throughout the Bible. We proselytized and made people become Jews, it says,
Water.
because of the fear of the Jews. You know what I'm saying? So once we get back on top and stand righteously for this word and this word of God and the laws of God, guess what? Hey, they're gonna have to get down.
Come on, man. Hey, man, it's so crazy. I was watching a brother. He made a post. I think it was today or yesterday, and he said it's crazy. Our people will forgive people that rape, rob, and murder. Right, our ancestors shoot us down in the street, hang us till this day. We'll forgive them, but we can't forgive the person right up the block. We can't forgive that person at the stop sign. But you're quick to say, oh, everybody deserves the kingdom of heaven. But you can't even forgive your brother for stopping at a stop sign. That's madness, bro. Like that's madness, bro.
Hey, and it like we said, man, that reminds me of the scripture that, and it's funny because even the brothers of Sakari was touching on this the other day. The brother, Gorilla Hebrew, Chief Priest Alazar, he was touching on this too, and it was coming out of Isaiah 59. I think I read this last night. Isaiah 59 and I'm gonna start at verse number 7. Right? It says, "Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in their paths." This is of our people to a T right nowadays, right? Right now today. Because you got to think about it like this. The Most High said, hey, we shouldn't follow a multitude to do evil, right? But what is one of the things that he hate? Feet that be swift to run to mischief. Our feet run to mischief. Our feet run to evil. This is like when we used to be in high school. You hear about people fighting. Everybody running to a fight. It's a big crowd. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, make haste to shed innocent blood. Our people are literally killing people like the brother said earlier. The brother Danal said earlier. Our people are killing people over nothing nowadays, right? And it, like we say, bro, at the end of the day, the only person we should fear is the Most High God. But it makes me, you know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, sometimes, bro, I just get mad, not at the fact that, I get mad at the fact that our people are like this, and I know that it is our heart's desire that we could help change that narrative, right? I would love it if, and it is perfect sense because even in gangs, right? When you think about gang violence, organizational violence, you got to think, bro. some of these gangs are literally beefing within each other, right? When you think about the Crips and you go think about Los Angeles, you go think about Crenshaw, Slauson, all those neighborhoods, right? 20s, you got the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50, I want to say they 55s, you know what I'm saying? The 60s. You got the 90s. You know, you got all these Crips, the A Trays, right? In the 60s and the A Trays are the two biggest rivals, and they're all the same organization, Crips. You know what I'm saying? And that's our people. We're like a house divided, right? Just imagine if every one of those neighborhoods, those sets, just imagine if all of them said, you know what, we ain't beefing no more. You know what I'm saying? We gonna squash all that. We only gonna come against those who come against us in the sense of other nations, not our own people, but other nations. If all of our people who wore these different colors, bang these different neighborhoods, these different sets, if all of our people will repent and turn away from their ways, right? And we understand that, hey, look, we got to start acting like ants and stop acting like crabs in a bucket. Hey, man, we would be a mighty nation for real, bro. It makes it like it don't. I don't think no brother up here that's speaking right now would say anything different. If they seen a brother, you know what I'm saying. If a brother came to talk to them about the truth, hey, we'll be open to speak with them, because we don't come from a place of fear. Why, when we see those people, we humble down in a sense. I coming from a place of humility because I want these brothers to sincerely hearken to what the voice of the Most High God said unto them. You know what I'm saying? You go read
Right.
the history of the how the 60s Crips got to where they are right now in Savannah, Georgia, right? If anybody know of the rapper Quando Rondo, that's where he come from. Go read about the history of the 60 Crips that come out of Savannah, right? Go talk about the things that led up to them being prominent in the 912, right? You got to think about it like this. A lot of the things they did are literally prophecies that happened to our people. Let me go pull out a book. Let me go pull out a precept real quick. It's the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 6, right? It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. But ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put in a bag with holes, right? A lot of our peoples resorted to the fast money life, like the precept we read the other day, when it's just like, I don't know if it was read. I don't know if one of y'all mentioned it or somebody mentioned it, but to just talk about how, hey, the get rich quick schemes, hey, they don't work good. I think Miles put
Yeah,
that in the group
yeah,
chat.
that was Miles.
Yeah, I think Miles put that in the group chat. Let me go pull up that preset that he pulled. But the get rich quick schemes, you know what I'm saying? Um,
It reads differently in King James,
Con,
but same thing.
yeah, Con. Let me bring that up real quick too. Proverbs. Let me stay right here. Let me get out of Sirach. Proverbs 13 and 11. And brothers got to say something. You can go ahead. It's a lock. Y'all know I'm kind of long winded. But look, Proverbs 13 and 11. It said, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathered by labor shall increase. Right? So, in a sense, we got people who resorted to the fast money life because of Haggai 1 and 6, where it talks about um, we earneth wages, but we put it into a bag with holes, constantly losing money. You know what I'm saying? We sow much, but we bring in little. A lot of people said we tired of having to work 9 to 5s and tired of getting screwed over working at these jobs. You know what I'm saying? And some people were put in these positions than others. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's walk in life is different. I can't sit up here and say, hey, look, we were all given the same deck of cards to play with in life. You know what I'm saying? It's just like even when you play cards games, if anybody in here play spades or you play any type of card game, you know, when the dealer is dealing the cards, all of y'all are not getting the same hand. You know what I'm saying? Some people are going to get the most books because they just have a better hand. That's just how it happens. That's life. We can't sit up here and talk about we all got the same opportunity, this, that, and third, because everybody didn't. A lot of our brothers and sisters who are in that street life probably didn't get the same opportunity. A lot of them were born into that, right? I was born in Wichita, Kansas, right? It is a gentrified area. I ain't even gonna say gentrified. If gentrified means majority white, then that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But
Gentrified means it was once black, but they made it white.
So I grew up in a gentrified area. You know what I'm saying? In Wichita, Kansas, right? I was born at Wesley Birth Care Center. I relocated to Augusta, Georgia at the age of 9 back in 2007. When I say it was a totally different environment than what I was used to, because at the end of the day, I seen the difference in where people live. I seen the differences in activity just on everyday life. I didn't come from a background of literally waking up having to fight every day. I didn't grow up with bigger brothers. I got a big brother, literally physically a real big brother. I got an older brother. I got older siblings. I'm the youngest. But at the end of the day, I didn't grow up in some of these environments that some of our brothers and sisters go in. Therefore, some of their situations and why they did what they did in life, I can't say that, oh man, I could have did the same thing, but I chose not to. No. Me personally, I was always a person, for some reason, I just wanted to be like those people. I used to have a homeboy who used to associate with that lifestyle, and I used to talk to him like asking questions like I just want to be a part of it. One thing he told me, bro, he was like, "Man, you just be yourself. You don't want to be a part of stuff like this." You know what I'm saying? And I think he said that because I was asking so many questions. He was like, "Man, just be yourself. You don't want to be a part of this because at the end of the day, it don't gain nothing." You know what I'm saying? It doesn't gain nothing. It's a constant cycle. And in life, that's a lot of times what we do is that we sit up here, we sit in these pots, and we just keep turning the temperature up with ourselves and with the wickedness around us. And at the end of the day, we didn't gain nothing from it but death. That's what we do. We sit in these pots that we get put in, and we just sit up here and just, as they turn up the heat, as Babylon turns up the heat, and we turn up the heat in ourselves. Babylon is turning up the heat right now. Gas prices is high. You know what I'm saying? Inflation is high. Job doesn't want to pay you no more than what they've been paying you for the last 20 years. If you was making 7.25 back in 2005, some jobs don't want to pay you more than $7.25 in 2022. That's 17 years later, and some people are still wanting to give you the same wages for an economy that's probably 120% higher than what it was 17 years ago. And that's literally some of the things that has our people in shambles. So now Babylon is turning up the heat, and all of a sudden, some people are like, "Man, screw it. My job not paying me enough. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that." And that's exactly how we destroy ourselves. But like I said, I wasn't born in that environment. I don't encourage that behavior. I don't say I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I can't I can't judge my brothers and say that, oh, y'all, we got the same cards to play with. Nah. What I'm gonna say is that, hey, look, the Most High gave you cards at the end of the day. You just got to learn how to play with the hand that was given to you. Most High willing, you know what I'm saying? Like we said, we can always get brothers to repent and come out of that. But at the end of the day, like we said, it's just a constant frog in the pot type of mindset. Our people get put in situations, and as the situation increases, they have to increase. But we have to know, A, either when to get out, or B, know how to stay in and endure. And the only time you should stay in and endure is when it's righteous base. But if it's not righteous base, we need to get out of Dodge. Brothers got to add anything?
Slide. Can you go to Ezekiel 24:6?
Con. Let me go to Ezekiel 24:6, right?
Con.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 24, and verse number 6. Wherefore, thus saith the Lord God, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not going out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it.
Right, meaning let no inheritance, let nothing be given to it, right? But it called this place a pot. Well, this place would be this city, the bloody city, right? Because this place was founded on bloodshed, right? Also, we know that what's the precept where it calls Babylon a melting pot or a mixing pot, something like that.
Is that in Jeremiah? I think that's in Jeremiah. I'll find it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the brother's been going into, all these things play a factor in the fact that this place is burning. The heat's getting turned up, and we gotta realize it and not adapt to it. A lot of us, we're like that frog. Oh, LGBTQ. Well, and you start getting politically correct. You know what I'm saying? It's telling people, well, I agree people should love who they should love. No, you know right from wrong, right? You wouldn't allow your kids to do it. But a lot of us, what's happening, we're adjusting to the temperature. Even though sin is getting hotter and hotter, wickedness is getting hotter and hotter, we don't realize that we're changing with it. Why? Because the church is changing with it. The pastors are changing with it. Why? Because the government paying them. But what we see is, um, as wicked rule, right? The righteous people get more and more wicked, and it's contagious, which is why when the righteous rule, the people is gonna, you know what I'm saying, be in rejoice because we're gonna be more and more righteous. We're gonna know right from wrong. But now everybody has a say so. Everybody wants to be politically correct and not hurt anybody's feelings. And that's getting us too comfortable in this pot. If everybody's always agreeing that you can do whatever you want, you can do as thou wilt, guess what? You're gonna be too comfortable in that pot, and before you know it, destruction will come as a thief in the night, right? Just like that video the brother said, he said, the video said, and by the time the frog knew it was too hot, he was being killed, right? So the Bible also talks about how recompense and how judgment comes swiftly when a king is on his bed, right, in a deep sleep. You could be on your bed sleeping peacefully, and hey, look, that judgment just come right before you. That and that just symbolizes when you least expect it, when you're at peace, when you're at rest, when you think everything's okay, right? Though it tarry, wait for it, it's coming.
Con, that's a mighty point, and I think that a lot of what you're referring to is Ezekiel chapter 24, giving the parable of Babylon and the melting pot. But hey, like the brother was saying, though it tarry, hey, sometimes we gotta wait for these things because, like we said, the only thing we can do is truly repent and ask that the Most High forgives us for the things that we've done. You know, that's the only thing I can do is rehearse these righteous acts and be able to get my transgressions blotted out as much as the Most High sees it for mercy unto me. You know, that's the only thing I can say. I can't speak for these brothers. I can only speak for myself because we have to work out our own salvation according to Philippians 2 and 12. When you think about some of the things that we've done and that we're in, some of the situations we've been in, a lot of us probably used to be those frogs in the pot where, hey, we've been in situations where all hell was breaking loose, and guess what we did? We had to adjust to all hell breaking loose, but we weren't doing it in the sense of being righteous. We were doing it in the sense of being wicked. It's just like in a big brawl or something. If somebody's fighting, you know what I'm saying, it turns out to be this big scuffle, and you got friends, you can either be that frog that jumps out and gets the heck out of there and get your friends out of there, or you can be that frog that starts swinging back, adjusting your body temperature to fit the needs of the crowd and your environment and surroundings. A lot of us have been those frogs to say that, hey, look, my friend's fighting, I'm gotta fight too. If I see somebody finna act crazy, well, I gotta act crazy too. That's how people lose their life. I think that's how King Von lost his life when he had beef with Quando Rondo, and he found out Quando Rondo was in a nightclub in Atlanta. I think King Von. The story is, this is allegedly, the story is King Von was at a hotel, found out Quando Rondo was at a nightclub in Atlanta, and was like, bet. Literally lost his life that night because he got into a scuffle with Quando, and one of Quando's homeboys did a number on him. And literally, that's how it happens sometimes. Instead of being that frog to get out of the pot, we that frog that stay in it. Sometimes we the frog or the people that jump in the pot. Might not got nothing to do with you, but you jump in it and you get yourself burned. You know, sometimes, hey, we got to be the bigger person. You know, sometimes it's just like we got to use the examples that the Most High gives us to teach us a lesson. The examples that He gives us with our people, the examples that He gives us with the animals, the insects. The Most High gives us opportunities to see and learn from something. We have to be the people that take these opportunities and examples. You know what I'm saying? If we haven't said anything else, know that the Most High God is a man of His word, and He's always going to be able to provide for us, regardless of what we do. You know what I'm saying? If you do wickedness, he's going to make sure that you reap it. But if you do righteous, he'll make sure that you reap righteousness. But literally, there are so many examples to learn from. We went over ants. We went over all the beasts. We went over the ravens. We talked about a lot of things. And the biggest thing I can say is learning from our people, especially, man, when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to our peoples who are in these gangs and organizations, are people who, even if they ain't in gangs, organizations, but they claim the street life. We have to learn from some of the things that the Most High God puts them through in order to make sure that we go harder for them. They need it more than we do. They need to hear these words more than we do. I'm not sitting up here trying to preach to Donald and Azrael. I'm sitting up here praying that these words are caught by the wind and carried to every neighborhood that has a brother in it that claims a color or organization, a block. I want them brothers to be able to be delivered, right? So we got to be the frogs that are not in the pot, getting caught up in the temperature and being comfortable and adapting to the wicked surroundings. We got to be the frogs that are jumping out. You got anything to add, brother?
Nah, that's spot on though. You know what I'm saying? That's spot on. Yeah, man. You know, as the brother was saying, we're not on here. Just like one of our teachers used to say back in high school, I'm not teaching you this stuff for my edification, right? This is not for my edification, students, class, right? This is for those that are still lost, man. We spoke about our brothers and sisters being sick, right? And they don't even know it. Once upon a time we were sick, you know, but and you know, the same thing, where was Christ sent, right? It was not sent for the healthy to the healthy people don't need a physician, but those that are in need of a physician are those that are sick, right? And so the words that we speak to you guys, man, just know that, hey, we're trying to do spiritual healings because we're supposed to be spiritual doctors out here.
Right. And you know, like the brother just said, a lot of us don't know we're in that melting pot, or a lot of us don't know we're being boiled, right? We don't know that we're that frog, and we don't know that we're sick. A lot of us don't know we got spiritual cancer, right? A lot, and you know, when you think about cancer, a lot of people, you don't know till you get checked up. You know what I'm saying? And when you get checked up, then your whole life changes, right? That's like coming into this truth. You find out that you're sick, and your whole life changes. Yes, it becomes hard at sometimes to keep the faith and keep the walk, but ultimately, you know what chemotherapy you need. You know what I'm saying? And that's that Bible. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
No, I was about to back you up and say, man, just literally, was it 2 days ago or even yesterday? I had a brother that I knew back from college. He hit me up and he said, bro, literally, when I started keeping the Shabbat, my whole life changed. You know what I'm saying? So like the brother's saying, right, this information that we're pushing forth, this edification that we're pushing forth is literally life-changing.
Hey, Khan, everything that the brothers is mentioning have come from the scriptures. And it's just like everything that we're going through as a people could be found in the scriptures. I mean, there is nowhere throughout the scriptures that we could show our people how we relate to that, whether it be good or bad, you know? And a lot of times, like we said, there's double to that, which is we got to consider the frog that was in the pot when the temperature was getting turned up. The frog just kept changing its body temperature. People can say that's a myth, but I'm going to tell you why that's not a myth. It's not a myth because we see it prophesied in the scriptures where we've been in positions where people have folded under pressure. That could be equivalent to turning your temperature up in the pot. When our people was tempted with eating pork, some people chose to eat it because they love their life more than they love the Most High. You know what I'm saying? They chose to save their life rather than to lose it. And that happened. That's a fact. That's happened. So literally, we can see that there's also people who were tempted with eating that pork, and they chose to lose their life in order to save it. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact that happened. That's history. That's historical facts and evidence that we could provide and tell you why the frog in the pot is not a myth. There's videos that you can see on YouTube that say, "Oh, the frog in the pot is a myth. The frog is always going to jump out the pot." Well, you have to show me where the children of Israel have always jumped out the pot, and I can show you
10 times more than that, where we always either stayed in it or even jumped in it ourselves. So we, as a people, man, consider it both sides. Like the brother Azrael brought out in the beginning. Hey, there's two sides to this thing. You can look at it as in we in the pot and we turning up our temperature, adjusting to wickedness, or we in the pot and we turning up our temperature, adjusting to the environment that the Most High put us in to be able to endure it. We have to be like that frog. Adjust our temperature to be able to endure the afflictions, endure the chastising. That's the only way we'll ever recover as a nation, if we endure. But you got to do that by first jumping out that pot that you're in that's telling you to be more wicked. This society that we live in is telling us to be more and more wicked each and every day. Pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ, pro women rule the world, right? That's unorderly. That's not like-minded according to the scriptures. And you can't be a lover of God in the world, right? That's James 4:4. That's 1 John 2:15. So I hope the words that we've spoken through the scriptures that have been edifying in spirit and in truth, man. It's your brother Yeshaya, and I'm going to yield. I don't know if brothers want to have a closing statement or anything to add, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned tomorrow because we got a Sabbath lesson coming as well.
Brother Donald, I yield. Great lesson through the spirit.
I was gonna say, like the brother said, man, it's a spiritual sinful pot that's boiling right now, and a lot of us don't realize we're changing with the temperature, and we're getting very hot as well, and we're indulging in sin and making excuses for it and allowing it to happen because we're just adapting to what's around us, right? Wanting to be like everything that's around us. You know what I'm saying? And we got to know when to get out that pot, unlike that sad frog, even though there was no frogs hurt in the making of that video. But with that, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. Hope everybody has a peaceful, restful day as well. And I hope this edified at least one.
God, hey, at least one. That's all we go for. But hey, if you in the Macon, Georgia area and you need some brothers to fellowship with, man, don't be afraid to hit us up. We got our information growing across the bottom of the screen. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can hit us up on YouTube. You can email us. You can find us on IG as well. We're on pretty much every platform outside of Snapchat. So if brothers want to link up, if sisters need sisters to fellowship with, contact us, you know. If brothers just need anything, any information, any advice, knowledge, hey, hit us up, man. But with that, I'm going to yield. I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom to the nation. All praises to the Most High God each and every day that we're able to do a lesson in fellowship with brothers and sisters online. Hey, and stay tuned for tomorrow, man. But hope y'all have a great rest day. Shalom.
Shalom.